Good morning, everyone. I want to make sure that everyone can hear me this morning. So if you guys can let me know that you can hear me, that would be wonderful. If I could just get a couple comments in the chat box to let me know that you can hear me. Outstanding. Thank you guys so much. And welcome. Good morning. My name is Stephanie Broughton. I'm one of the MWBE coordinators with Dallas Independent School District. And I'd like to welcome you to the Dallas Independent School District Minority Women Business Enterprise Department and Procurement Services Cooperative Information Session. We'd like to thank you for joining us this morning. We have an amazing event scheduled for you today, full of information. So definitely get ready to receive this information. And I just want to remind everyone, if you have questions, please feel free to ask those questions in the Q&A session. You can put your questions in the Q&A session at any time during this event, and we'll make sure that we get those questions answered for you as we go throughout the event. Now we want to go ahead and get started and talk with two of our senior buyers with Dallas Independent School District, John Blythe, who is over technology, as well as Kenva Hill. Kenva is over general administration, teaching, and learning. So I just want to ask them some general questions to get a feel for how Dallas ISD utilizes cooperative purchasing systems and the benefit of those. Good morning, Kenva and John. How are you guys doing this morning?
Good morning. Great, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I know you guys are extremely busy, and thank you so much for taking time out to join us this morning to share with us and our participants information on cooperatives. And so I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. So how does Dallas ISD utilize co-ops, and what does that process look like? Just so our attendees can get an understanding of that.
Okay, Dallas ISD utilizes cooperatives agreements for different reasons. Usually it's if we want to procure something or some items, in a quick manner, we would go to our cooperative agreements, find out if the vendor is on a cooperative agreement, and to see if we can utilize that agreement for certain services or products that we are looking for. It could also be, for example, if we have like an emergency situation where we need something quickly, we can reach out. We'll reach out to vendors to see if they're on cooperative agreements. It could be, if we're looking for something that we need right away, we'll reach out to the vendors to contact them to see if they're on cooperative agreements. And our process with that is, in order for us to piggyback off of those contracts, once we work with the end user, and then we will contact the vendor, once they give us that information that they are in a cooperative, we would make sure we have a copy of that cooperative agreement. We here at Dallas ISD, we have like a 2-page contract that we put together that is stating that between the vendor and Dallas ISD that we will be utilizing a specific cooperative agreement. So we would send those documents to the vendor along with, we request certain required documents from them, one being the MWBE packet, one being our CRQ, which is a conflict of interest. Our felony conviction is a document that we will send out, and we will request these documents from you guys. Most of the time when you're signing up with cooperatives, you are filling out these documents as well, but we as Dallas ISD need these as well for our for audit purposes and to go along with our contracts. And then once we get that information, we will put together that agreement. We will get that to you to sign. Once you sign and send back the agreement with all the required documents, then we will work with the end user, getting a requisition put into place and getting you a purchase order out.
Okay, thanks so much, Kenva. So could you talk a little bit about what are the benefits for the district as it relates to utilizing cooperatives?
Okay. John, did you want to take that one? Question, John?
I
You
think
don't
we
see John?
lost John. I think
Okay.
I'm not sure if he's gonna hop back on, but
Okay. So the benefits with doing, I'm sorry, state your question again, Stephanie.
sure, no problem. What are the benefits for the district as it relates to utilizing cooperatives?
The benefits is that one is the timeline. When we do a RFP, it normally takes like 4 months from beginning to end. When we're using a cooperative and utilizing those agreements, it cuts the time down to possibly about around 4 weeks. So I think that's one of the main benefits in using cooperative agreements. Um, and it may be for items that are kind of hard to procure, or possibly that we currently don't have anything in place. Then we will reach out to cooperative agreement to see if that's something that we can utilize.
Okay. And I know we talked a little bit about cooperatives as it relates to the procurement process. And I just want our attendees to know that the cooperatives have to, or they actually do follow the Texas procurement laws just as the district does. And
Yes.
can you talk a little bit about, and of course we have 4 amazing cooperatives joining us today, but the district does have a list of cooperatives that they work with. Now, out of that list, we have 4 amazing ones with us today, but I just kind of want to give our attendees a little glimpse as to what a cooperative is and really the benefit to their business as it relates to being involved with the cooperative. Now, like I already stated, that the cooperatives do have to follow the Texas procurement laws. And could you talk a little bit about kind of how that works when it comes to, like, do they put out their own bids? Do they use the bids that the district has? Can you talk a little bit about that, Kenva?
Okay. So the cooperative agreements, like Stephanie said, they do follow the same state laws that we follow. So they go through the same process that we do. So they will, and I'm sure some of them, once they get on there, will speak more to this, but they actually put out an RFP, whether it be for computers, whether it be for reading materials. So they would put out an RFP on the street, and then they advertise that in the newspapers, same as we advertise. And then vendors would respond to their RFP. They go through the same thing that you would go through if you responded to an RFP with us. Once you send in your bid, they do evaluations and tabulate those vendor documents. And then they put out a list as well of vendors that are awarded up under that specific contract. And then once they do that, that's how in turn we can piggyback off of that contract. So they've already gone through the same process that we as Dallas ISD would go through, and gathering the same, documents, same information. So it just saves us time when we're, like I said previous, when we're looking for something, and we don't have to go through the 4-month process. We can just, contact them, get that contract, and piggyback off of that contract.
Okay, and it looks like John has joined us again. So John, please feel free to chime in if you have any comments about any of the questions or anything that we're currently talking about. And what I want to do is kind of back up a little bit and talk about, you mentioned how it saves the district time. What about the business owners? Does it save the business owner times? And what is their process as it relates to if they want to do business with the district and they go through a cooperative, do they still have to submit the proposal through with Dallas ISD?
No, they do not. If we're utilizing a cooperative for their services, they would just have to submit the paperwork that we send them, the 2-page contract, and then the I think it's 4 or 5 required documents that we have that we send them. All they need to do is fill those out and send those back to us. They don't have to, go through the RFP process as if they were responding to an RFP. So
Okay.
it's a shorter time period for them.
Okay, well, that's great. So just so our attendees know, essentially, if you go through a cooperative and you complete their particular RFP process, you do not have to duplicate that process with Dallas ISD. However, you still would have to submit some essential documents that are required with the district, and Kenva mentioned them earlier, like our MWBE forms, as well as a felony conviction form, form, as well as that particular process. John, did you have anything to add to that particular process as it relates to when a business owner goes through a cooperative and they do not have to go do the same process with the district? Do you have anything else to add to that?
No, I think you've hit it. It's just a couple of documents that were required to be filled out, returned to us. We execute, and then we're ready to do business.
Okay. Can you guys talk a little bit about the benefits for a business owner to go through a cooperative?
Sure. The benefits, not only do that contract may cover various items and services, it also will allow you to be exposed to districts all over Texas. So it can bring in business for a lot of districts as well, not just Dallas ISD.
Okay, now that is a great point. And if you guys didn't hear John, he was indicating that one of the major benefits for a business owner to go through a cooperative is that one RFP that you submit with the cooperative can be utilized throughout the state. So that's a great asset for you guys. It can save you a substantial amount of time. And again, we have 4 amazing cooperatives with us today that's going to share information about how you can become a member of their particular cooperative and what that process looks like. And I see some questions and comments going on in the chat. If you guys have any questions, please include those questions in the Q&A, and we will make sure that we get to those questions. And I just want to see, did either of you have anything to add as it relates to business owners doing business with a cooperative in Dallas ISD? You guys have any additional comments?
No.
Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the Q&A session. So if you guys have any questions, please include that. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the MWBE department, as well as getting you guys involved with doing business with Dallas Independent School District. We would love to have you guys do business with us. If you're not already registered as a Dallas ISD vendor, we would love to get you registered as a Dallas ISD vendor. I'm going to include a link in the chat box. And if you click on that link, you can just include your email address, and I will make sure that I send information to you to get registered as a Dallas ISD vendor. So for those of you who are not already a vendor, we would love for you to become a vendor, and just include your information or just your email. That's all you have to include, just your email in that link that I just included in the chat box, and I will make sure that you get information on how to get registered as a vendor. The Dallas ISD MWBE department is here to assist you. We work with minority-owned and women-owned businesses who are interested in doing business with the district. We help you navigate through the process. We offer amazing trainings like the one today, and we definitely encourage all of you to do business with us. So let's go ahead and get to the questions. Thank you, John and Kenva, for that. Let's see what kind of questions we have. All right. So one of the questions is, how do you become a cooperative agreement through Dallas ISD? And I think we kind of answered that question already. So if you still need further assistance, Irene, please include that information back in the Q&A session. And this question, okay. Okay, some of the questions that is being included in the Q&A session is unrelated to cooperatives. So we're only going to be able to, we only have time to really address questions regarding doing business with Dallas ISD as it relates to cooperatives. So if you have any additional questions, I'll make sure that you get my contact information so you can submit that information. So Sherry wants to know which cooperatives does the district utilize? We actually have a list of cooperatives that we utilize that I can provide for you. The 4 that we are hosting for today is Omnia Partners, TIPS, BuyBoard, as well as, I named Omnia, TIPS, BuyBoard. They are all here today, and you will hear from each one of them, as well as DIR. You will hear from each one of them today. Okay, and this other question is, would going through co-ops eliminate going through the bidding process again? Yes, yes, we answered that one. Okay, that's a separate question. Okay, okay, that's more of a question for co-op. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any additional questions for Dallas ISD. So we're going to move forward with the rest of our program. Thank you, Kevin and John, for joining us, and we hope you stay with us today so that you can answer any additional questions that may come up. So thank you so much again.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Now we're going to continue with the rest of today's program. I do have a poll question that I would like to ask you guys, and this is regarding the co-ops. So it's 2 questions, and we just want to know if you're already currently a member of a co-op. So if you're already currently a member of the co-op, you can just hit yes, and then let us know which co-op you're already involved in. We love to know that. Thank you guys so much for taking time to answer the poll question. We'll give you guys just a few more seconds to answer that question. Thank you guys so much again. Awesome. I see those answers coming in. Thank you guys so much for answering that poll question. All right. All these answers are rolling in. I almost don't want to end the poll, but I'm going to have to end the poll so we can get some amazing information. So I think I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. We have quite a few responses. Although we don't have responses from everyone, we have enough to get a sample. So let's see what you guys have said. Okay, it looks like 67% of you said yes, you are involved or a member of a cooperative. 35% of you said you are not. Now, out of all the cooperatives that were presented, 52% of you said that you were a member of TIPS. 48% of you said you were a member of BuyBoard. 22% of you said that you were a member of DIR. And 9% of you said that you were a member of Omnia Partners. Thank you guys so much for participating in that poll. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the Q&A session. We want to make sure that you get your questions answered. For today's event, make sure that your question is related to cooperatives. If you have any additional questions or concerns about Dallas ISD, I'll make sure that you have contact information to be able to address those questions. But we only have time allotted for today to respond to questions regarding cooperatives. So to streamline the process before our cooperatives begin their presentation, I would like for you guys to put the first letter of the cooperative that you want to address the question to within the Q&A box. For example, if you want to ask DIR a question, put the letter D and then the question. B for BuyBoard, T for tips, O for Omnia Partners, and A for all. If you have any additional questions for Dallas ISD, just put DISD in front of your question. That way I can know exactly who I need to address your question to. So please let me know in the chat if you have any additional questions regarding Dallas ISD. So therefore I can make sure you get those questions addressed and answered. Let's move on. Awesome. Now I'd like to introduce you guys to Lynn Hodde. Lynn is the Director of Hub and Outreach and Training. Lynn has 22 years of state service. She joined the Texas Department of Information Resources, DIR, in 2013, where she is responsible for hub compliance and coordinating outreach and training for DIR customers and vendors. Lynn's colleague, Teresa Williamson, will be accompanying her today to answer your questions. Lynn?
Good morning. Thank you. Happy to be here. We are DIR. So I saw that some of you in the poll are actually on DIR contracts. So that's wonderful. And we've included our mission statement here for you. So just overall, DIR is here to serve Texas government by leading the state's technology strategy, protecting state technology infrastructure, and offering innovative and cost-effective solutions for all levels of government. So that's our main mission for the state of Texas. Next slide. So we're going to talk a little bit today about how to become a DIR vendor. Next slide. We are the IT agency for the state of Texas. So we are a government agency for the state of Texas, and our one and sole purpose is focused on IT. And for our division, our Chief Procurement Office division, we are tasked with implementing and managing IT-related contracts. So when DISD is talking about the DIR Cooperative, what they're referring to is the use of DIR IT-related contracts for their IT needs for services or products. This slide here is just really an overall view of what DIR handles. So we have our cooperative contract, and we'll discuss some of those today. We have our shared technology services offerings, which are also contracts. And then we have our statewide data program. So if any of y'all have ever searched data.texas.gov, we run that through a contract, which we are probably going to be bidding out soon. But that's an offering that we have out there for our customers to post that frequently requested information or publicly available information that they want to share with the community. We have that space available there for our customers to post that information. We post our sales information on data.texas.gov. Then we also have the texas.gov program under shared technology services. So if any of y'all have renewed your driver's license online, or ordered your tags for your car online, or maybe ordered a birth certificate online, you've done that through that program. That is also a contracting opportunity that we have at DIR. And then we also have technology, planning and policy, and then our communications division, our information security, our OCISO office. So that's a really high level of a lot of our programs and offerings that we have at DIR. Next slide. I mentioned the cooperative contract program. So for most people, when you talk about DIR, you talk about DIR being a cooperative, or you mention DIR contracts, they're going to immediately think of our cooperative contract program without realizing that's what they're thinking about. But we have roughly close to 900 contracts and offerings through that cooperative contracts program right now. They encompass anything from hardware, laptops, services, IT staff augmentation, technology services, the deliverable-based IT. We also have bulk purchasing agreements through our cooperative contract program. So we will take those cooperative contracts that are already in place, and depending on the needs of our customers, if we have a need by 2 or more customers, we will go in and negotiate even deeper discounted rates with our current contract holders for those bulk purchase agreements. So then any of our customers can use those. So during the pandemic, when we had a high need of laptops or remote devices for our agencies, for our school districts, we had several bulk purchasing agreements in place for our customers to utilize. Then there was some additional funds that was available mainly for our state agencies to spend, but we assisted them in procuring those devices through our bulk purchasing agreements that we have available as well. So that kind of gives you an idea. We have numerous products and services that are offered under our cooperative contracts program area, and that's the easiest way to get into DIR, or the easiest way to find a contracting opportunity at DIR. Next slide. So again, these are just some of the sample offerings that we have under our cooperative contract products. So you'll see we have video conferencing equipment. We have miscellaneous IT hardware and software that will be coming out soon as well. Projectors, data storage. We have a whole slew of offerings. So that is available there for you to read up on later when you have some free time. Next slide. And this slide will show some of these services that are available through our cooperative contracts program as well. So our IT staffing services contract, also known as IT staff augmentation, we awarded those contracts last year. So in about 2.5 years, you'll see that contract being prepared and planned to go out again for rebid. We are in the midst of evaluating our deliverable-based IT services contract. So those are 2 of our biggest services-related contracts that we have. We awarded, I believe, close to 160 ISDAC contracts last year. I don't know how many DVIT contracts we'll award this year, but we're in the process of reviewing that. So for those of you who maybe have missed that opportunity, it's still not too late. Once those contracts are implemented, you can negotiate with those contract holders about the potential of or possibility of being a subcontractor with them under those contracts. So this again is just a variety of offerings that we have in the services category through our cooperative contracts program. Next slide. And IT staffing. This gives you an idea of the categories that we had for offerings under the IT staff augmentation contract. So again, those contracts are currently in place. We do not have a RFO on the street out for those for you to respond to a bid. So if you want to be a part of any of these contracts currently, you can go to our website, search ITSAC, you can type in ITSAC, and it will generate a list of current contract holders. You can go into each of those contract pages and identify who their point of contact is for those contracts, reach out to those companies and talk about possible partnership opportunities. You can be included as a subcontractor on their hub subcontracting plans. Every contract that we have has a hub subcontracting plan. That's the vehicle that we are required to have to identify who subcontractors are on each of our contracts over $100,000. So that's the method they would use to add you. So if you offer any of these service offerings, if you think you could provide or help support any of those contracts, we encourage you to reach out to those ITSAC contract holders, because they are in need of subcontractors, because numerous times they'll place those subcontractors at agencies and other customers, and they will be in need of subcontractors because opportunities will be coming out every day. So they are looking for new partners all the time. Next slide. And then this is just a sampling of the DBIT, the deliverable-based IT services offerings that we have, and the different categories. Same thing for DBIT. We're in the middle of evaluating those responses, so I don't know how many contracts we'll have. I don't know who those awardees will be, but once those are awarded, they'll be posted to our website. So again, if you feel like you provide any of these services, or you feel like you could support any of these services, reach out to those contract holders and discuss the opportunity or possibility of partnering with them as a subcontractor, because they are, again, looking for subcontractors as well. Next slide. So now we're going to talk a little bit about our shared technology services side of the house and those different offerings. This is a slide to show you how we have those set up. So where on our cooperative side of the house, we will do multiple awards for singular RFOs. On our shared technology services side of the house, we will do single awards. So we have a multi-sourcing services integrator, and that is awarded to one vendor and managed by one vendor. And they manage the vendors underneath them for the data center services, Texas.gov, managed security services, and the open data portal contracts that we have in place. And all of those have vendors that are managing those offerings as well. So you can see the different services that are included under those umbrellas for each of those offerings. Just because those were awarded to one contractor does not mean there are not opportunities. We do have those vendors sourcing materials and supplies and different offerings for our customers. So as they receive requests for services from our customers through the portal, they are looking to source those through different subcontractors as well. So each of those has a lengthy and long list of subcontractors. So on the next slide, we'll identify some of those providers. So Capgemini, as you can see, is our MSI vendor. And again, they're managing all of the vendors, so everything kind of flows through them for the work orders. And then our DCS security operations vendor is SAIC. Our technology solution services vendor is Deloitte. Our application services vendor, again, is Deloitte. Private cloud is through Atos. Public cloud is through Rackspace. Mainframe is through Atos, and then print mail is through Xerox. Again, multiple subcontracting opportunities are possible through these vendors, and you can identify who these contract holders are on our website, and their contact information is included there as well. Next slide. For our Texas.gov contract, Deloitte is on the apps development side of the house, so they're managing that Texas.gov website. And then on the payment side, we've got Texas NIC. So those are the two vendors that manage collectively that Texas.gov contract. Next slide. And then for managed security services, we have AT&T that you can see across the board manages all of those additional services. Next slide. Then we've got our open data portal, and the vendor for that contract is Socrata. And like I mentioned before, they are looking at, I think we're getting to the end of the life of that contract. So that will be going out for rebid probably within the fiscal year. So we will be posting that information on our website as well. Next slide. And then we have our communications technology services group, and that really comprises of our TechSAN contract and our capital complex telephone system. So if you've ever made a call to our any of your legislators downtown to the Pink Building, that is managed by our agency and by our service providers. Next slide. And here is a list of offerings that is included under telecommunications services. So you can see we have wireless services, conferencing services, and managed services. And we have a few RFOs out on the street for that right now. So if you provide any of these services and or equipment, you will want to be paying attention to our website for those RFO opportunities. If those RFOs have closed, again, you'll possibly want to reach out to those awardees and talk to them about subcontracting opportunities. Next slide. And eligible customers. So once you have been awarded a contract, once you've been included as a reseller on a contract or a subcontractor on one of our DIR contracts, what do? Because once you are awarded one of our contracts, that doesn't guarantee sales. That just simply means that DISD is now one of those eligible customers and you can market to them and they are eligible to purchase off of our contracts. So ISDs are some of our eligible customers: cities, counties, local municipalities, junior colleges, special purpose districts, ERCOT, private schools, private colleges, the Lower Colorado River Authority, hospitals, other public entities outside of Texas. All are eligible customers. Now, state agencies are mandatory customers, so they are required to go to our contracts first. So they have to use our contract for any of their IT needs up to a certain dollar threshold. Also, higher education, they are voluntary customers right now, but they are looking at changing some of that TAC rule. So that could change. But these are all eligible customers. And what that means is those are all entities that you can market to once you have a contract, because again, you are not guaranteed any sales. It's kind of just your license to hunt. So once you get that contract, you will want to take that contract and go to these entities and sell those services or products under that contract to these individual entities. Next slide. So we competitively bid out all of our contracts at DIR. Everything is posted and bid out through the RFO, request for offer process at DIR. We follow all of state laws for procurement processes and procedures, and all contracts are awarded in compliance with Texas law. So that helps and benefits our customers. And you heard DISD, that's why they use our co-op, because we are in compliance. We've already negotiated terms and conditions that meet and are in alignment with what they are required to follow as well. And then our customers can add to the terms and conditions as long as that doesn't weaken the terms and conditions attached to those contracts. But we bid everything out through the RFO process, because for the majority of our contracts that we have in place, we do not have fixed pricing. We have a percentage of discount. So at the very least, if DISD comes to you and says they need to order one laptop, you will have a minimum discount on that. Now, if DISD comes to you and says we need to order 1,500 laptops, they can negotiate deeper discounts. So at a bare minimum, you're guaranteed that percentage of discount off of MSRP, but our customers always encouraged to negotiate deeper discounts depending on the quantity they are ordering. We typically post all of our RFOs on the Electronic State Business Daily for approximately 30 days. Those sometimes get extended, so they are out there a little longer. And like I said earlier, we do multiple awards for our cooperative contract. So we're not just awarding to one vendor, we are awarding to multiple vendors. And that is determined by the competitive break once all of the responses have been evaluated. So most of our contracts are awarded for a 4-year term. Typically, it's an initial 2-year term with 2 1-year renewal options. So you will see most of those contracts in place for about 4 years, which means we will not rebid those contracting opportunities but once every 4 years. So that is a really high level overview of our contracting process. So we do not have a sign up. We do not have a registration. We do not have a pay to play. You have to wait for an RFO to be posted. You have to respond to that RFO and go through that contracting process and be awarded a contract to have a contract with DIR and then participate at that level. Next slide. So we have additional information for vendors on our website. If any of y'all are familiar with our website, we did implement a new website on September 1st, so it does look a little bit different. The feedback has been that it is easier to use, so you can find some additional information on selling through DIR on our website, on our main page, and we've spotlighted it there. Next slide. And it'll just give you some helpful facts and tips about doing business with DIR, our contracting process. It'll cover some of the same information I've just gone over. Next slide. And it's also got some information for historically underutilized businesses. So I am in the HUB program. So any of y'all that are eligible for HUB certification or have questions about that, again, you can go to that link as well. And then doing business with DIR is there for you as well as our solicitation, our schedule of solicitation opportunities. So that was formerly known as our current contracting initiatives. So that'll take you to our schedule of RFO opportunities that we have posted to our website. Next slide. So like I said, we've rebranded that current contracting initiatives page and are now calling it the schedule of solicitation opportunities. You can access it through the link there, and we will list everything on that page from the planning phase all the way to the award phase. So you will get to see where the RFOs are. You will see what we're currently evaluating. We're evaluating those Texan RFOs. We are evaluating those DBITS RFOs. When we move to negotiation, you will see that as well. So you'll get to watch that process. So if you miss that opportunity to respond to an RFO, it's still not too late. You can still plan on partnering with some of those recently awarded vendors and participating at a subcontractor level. Next slide. We do have HUB goals assigned to all of our procurement. So every RFO that hits the street, typically 99.99% of those are going to be either commodities or other services related. But we at DIR have our own internal procurement needs. We're a small agency of 200. So every now and then you will see some procurements related to professional services and special trade, and we will not procure those off of our own contracts. We will bid those out as well, and you will see those on our schedule of solicitation opportunities page. Next slide. And then we've also included some additional links because we are a state agency. We do follow state procurement laws, and we have the HUB program that we follow and comply with as well. So again, if you think you might be HUB certified, we've included that link here. The state of Texas is only allowed to follow and use one list, and that's the centralized master bidders list. So if you haven't signed up for that, I highly encourage you to go out there and register your business at $70 a year. When we have a procurement opportunity that goes out under a class and item code that you have registered for, you will receive notice of that bid opportunity being posted. And this is the list that we use when we solicit vendors. So when we're looking for vendors, that's the one list we can go to look and solicit vendors off of. And again, I said we post all of our bid opportunities to the electronic state business daily. We have a calendar of events. So there are other helpful links there for you to use. And then my team at DIR, there's myself, there's Ms. Teresa Williamson and Desiree Brown. If you don't remember anything else from today, and it's okay because you're going to get a lot of information, email us and we'll be happy to walk you through this process. We'll be happy to walk you through our website and to explain that contracting process again, because we do contract. We're not a sign up, we're not a register here. We do contract and we competitively bid those out. And we are a resource for you, so don't hesitate in reaching out to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lynn, for that information. We definitely appreciate it. And again, if you guys have any questions for DIR, please include your questions in the Q&A session and put a D in front of your question. If you've already previously submitted questions in the chat, Please submit those questions in the Q&A session to ensure that they get answered. Now we're going to move on to BuyBoard. I'd like to introduce you guys to Marisa Vickery. Marisa is a 20-year veteran of public education. She is currently over vendor relations for the BuyBoard Purchasing Cooperative. She is accompanied by Don Elsom. Don is a 30-year veteran of public education. He joined the Texas Association of School Boards, TASB, after he retired in 2019. He is the Business and Facility Services Consultant for Regions 9, 10, 11, and 14. They are both committed to supporting businesses to provide the best purchasing experience. Marisa and Don.
Hello, I am sorry, but my camera does not seem to be working here. I apologize for that. But we can go on to the first slide, and I will get started. No, go back one, I'm sorry. First of all, I want to thank everyone for being here today, and thank you for letting us to be here, Stephanie, and inviting us again this year. BuyBoard is unique and is out there, and we love to be part of this so that we can let people know what's going on and how to join us. We're always looking for new vendors, we're looking for new members, and we're willing to do whatever it takes to help you in any way. Just remember, there's a lot of cooperatives out there. All of them have their advantages in some way or another, but there's really only one BuyBoard. BuyBoard was started by the administered by the Texas Association of School Boards based on the recommendations of its members. And so, as Stephanie said, I'm a 30-year veteran in the school business, and the Texas Association of School Boards is somebody I used on a daily basis. So I was very proud to be able to join in this, and I retired in 2019 as a superintendent of schools, and honestly, I thought I was going to have the time not have to do a whole lot, but my wife changed that for me. She said I needed something else to do because I had too many projects going on around the house. So as we go through this, BuyBoard has a lot of advantages too, and one of those is our scale. So if you can go on to our next slide there. We are very credible and trusted in the TASB space, in the school, district, city, county, governmental entity space. We serve all governmental entities in the state of Texas. We do have a national BuyBoard that is growing across the nation as we speak. And TASB itself started in 1949, and we've been trusted for 70 years in the school business and in the state of Texas. Right now, we have over 6,000 plus members in BuyBoard. 1,400 of those are in the cities and counties. Over 1,000 school districts. That's every school district in the state, and over 250 counties. Actually, I think it's 253 of the 254. TASB provides over 25 plus programs for school districts and higher education, cities and counties throughout the state, including risk management, investments, policy, board book, HR, legal, and BuyBoard is one of those. BuyBoard itself is its own entity. It is administered by its own board, and the TASB representatives, basically, we go out and help service folks with BuyBoard, but we are employees of TASB, but at the same time, we help service BuyBoard. My job is to go out and work in certain counties in the state of Texas. We divide our counties and our areas up by educational service centers, and we would be glad to let you know what those are. Dallas ISD is in Region 10, Fort Worth ISD is in Region 11, but there are 20 service centers across the state of Texas, and we have consultants that work in all 20 of those. So anyone who wants to get in touch, if you get in touch with either me or Marisa, and you'll get Marisa's contact information at the end of this presentation, we'd be glad to get you in touch with a consultant that's in your area and can help you in whatever way possible. as we said, our contracts in BuyBoard are awarded for a 1-year contract with a possible 2-year extension on that contract. So there is a 3-year window in BuyBoard to when you can get in. We don't go out and add new ones after we award the contract, but we do extend the contract for 2 more years. We do an extensive vetting process and a grading process. Once you respond to an RFP, that process is graded. Your response is graded, and then you're vetted to make sure that you are a member that is in good standing. We hold our credibility and what the members use off of BuyBoard. We want that credit. We want the credibility to say that the vendors we have are highly vetted. And so our members know that if there's a problem, they can let us know, and we'll reach out to the vendor and get the problem worked out. All of our contracts are done in-house. We start with our own legal team, work through our contract development team, we solicit, and we service those in-house. We do not outsource any of that. The BuyBoard board oversees all of that, and then our legal team and all that works with that. We have a dedicated team. All of those people that work on BuyBoard, there are a group of people that work on BuyBoard, work on the contracts and the deals. All of that is in-house, like I said before. But we also have a dedicated team of consultants that can go out and help get your name out and help people find your service if they're looking for it. And we get calls and emails every day with people looking for services. We have over at any point in time, we have over 4,000 active people looking at that. Looking at BuyBoard for things. In the past, since BuyBoard has started, historically, we have given over $90 million in rebates. And we are unique to some cooperatives. There are other cooperatives that do that, but in 2020 alone, BuyBoard gave back $10.5 million to its members. And I say that to say this: BuyBoard is administered by a nonprofit organization, which is TASB. And so we're not in this to create a huge amount of revenue and do all that kind of stuff. What we're in this for is to service our members. And so we're out there trying to help them as much as we can, and to service our vendors too, to help them sell and grow their business at the same time. There is no cost to join BuyBoard to be part of that. You simply have to qualify through the RFP process. Now, there is a cost once you sell on BuyBoard. Anything that you sell, there's a 2% fee, and that is where we build our rebates to send back to our members. We can go to the next slide. Can you hear me? Oh, there we go. Sorry. What BuyBoard is, it's about people. We all know that in the education and governmental space, it's all about connections. It's all about people that you work with. And as vendors, I know you know that too. As you can make connections, you make sales. That's the way this world works. And so our job is to help you make those connections. We've done that through creating a virtual exhibit hall. I know you go to all the conferences and you have the exhibit halls. Well, our virtual exhibit hall has over 2,000 vendors in it at any point in time, with over 6,000 members able to access it. Those members are out there looking actively for things to purchase, and our job is to help them find those things, know where to look, and do that. Because our 70+ contracts that we have, this is a situation that all of those contracts were driven by our members. They needed those contracts for them to help them make this work, and so we put those in place. It's not a quick process, but we do it to service our members. And we're here to connect you. During that time, we also have over 350 MWBE members or vendors, with doing over $40 million in business in 2020, with over 65,000 transactions. Now, BuyBoard is not something that has to be done statewide. Because we are divided up by educational region service centers, it allows you, if you're a big business, you can do the whole state. We can even talk to you about doing it nationally. If you're a small business and you only want to service your local governmental entities, that's fine too. We can show you which region you can put that into, and we can get you locked into just that one, and you won't be contacted by anybody else, because nobody else will be able to see you except those entities that you'll service. So that is what BuyBoard does. We try and help you as any way we can, and we're glad to be here and do that now. At this point, I believe it is time for me to turn it over to Marisa, who is focused pretty much solely on vendors. Now, she helps members too, but she's out there, and so she has a better way of working you through the process on how to become a vendor on BuyBoard. Marisa?
Thank you, Don. And again, everyone, thank you so much for having us. Very much appreciated. Could you go to the next slide, Stephanie? So basically, I just wanted to share kind of the logistics of how you become a member. And hopefully some of you are a vendor with us. But the first thing you would do is that you would need to register. So I put it in the chat, some links, and we'll have the links here. I know Stephanie is going to share this information as well. But becoming a vendor is really a simple step-by-step process, but it's not immediate. As Don shared, our contracts are every 3 years. Now, one thing that we do offer is we have a lot of contracts. I was asked by a vendor last week why we have so many. And part of that reason is because we've been around so long. 15 years ago, having, say, drones in the classroom was really not something that was done or possible. So they do add contracts as they're requested by members. So we do have a lot. But the other benefit of that is many of you as vendors may offer products or services that would fit in multiple contracts. So that's something that also gives you a better ability and more I guess, visibility for our members. So first you would go to BuyBoard and click to become a member and like a vendor, I'm sorry. And I've added that. Now, registering as a vendor really just gives you the ability to receive information for proposals. Because they open every 3 years, the information is sent to you about 6 months before the proposal is renewed. So you would receive that information, and there's help on there, everything to walk you through the steps of submitting your proposal. And each of those does have a date. Next slide, please. Oh, it went back, so we'll go to the next one. And one more. There we go. Thanks so much. Something that you can also access is our entire contract expiration schedule. So if you go to buyboard.com and select the vendor link, this is where you'll be able to register. You can see which proposals are currently open. And then you can also see the contract that you see here, the expiration schedule. So it gives you the ability to kind of plan ahead. If you know that, say, let's see, one fueling systems is going to close at the end of the year, then you can be prepared if that's something that would apply to you. Next slide, please. And something that's really important, you know, for me, and I have a side small business as well, but for all of you on here who are WBE business owners, is that we make it easy for our members to filter vendors by certification. And it also gives you, when you do submit your proposal, if you are Hub certified or MWBE certified, there's a place for you to add that. And it really helps your chances and your points of becoming one of our great vendors that we have as part of our team. So members have the ability to search for vendors because they also have regulations on how many they need, especially for certain types of funding. So that's something that's really important for you to know, is that they have that ability. They also, when they click on you as a vendor, we call it your vendor splash page on our website. It has all of your certifications, so they can see that. They can click, have your certifications, and know that you are part of this elite group, as I like to call it. Next slide, please. Perfect. We're wrapping it up. You don't have to listen to us too much more. But Texas is a really big place. And we know that not all businesses can cover every area of the state. So you do have the ability to choose the entire state, the entire nation, or surrounding states, but also you're able to just serve the Dallas-Fort Worth area if that's what you choose to do. So it's nice because our members can go in and they only see the vendors that service their area. And please know that we're here for you. If you're not part of our family, please do join us. Schools and local governments, and as Lynn mentioned earlier, is that we service all school districts, cities, counties, fire departments, police departments, all of the local governments here in Texas and beyond and nationally. So you have the ability to be a vetted vendor for us and have be able to access the network for all of those government entities. We really appreciate your time. And I believe now Stephanie is going to bring us to the question and answers.
Yes, thank you so much for that information. So now I would just like to ask for Teresa from DIR and both Marissa and Don to come back and so we could answer some questions. So we have some questions here and we're going to go ahead and get started with asking some of these questions. So let's see, is Teresa available?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. All right, so one of the popular questions is there a fee to join? So I know that BuyBoard has indicated that there is no fee to join them. Is there a fee for DIR?
There's no fee.
Okay.
You simply, yeah, there's no fee.
Okay. And so the other question is, what is DIR website to become a member?
To become we don't have a list, like Lynn had said before. We actually competitively bid out all of our contracts. So there's two ways to become a DIR participant. And one is to respond to an RFO and be awarded a contract. And the second is to subcontract on a current contract. So if you've missed that original bid process, there's always opportunities to subcontract on current contracts.
Okay, and so if someone wants to know, this is for DIR, how do they identify current MSI prime vendors at DIR?
How do we identify vendors? There's a search engine on our website. It's dir.texas.gov. You can search our website for any product or service that you can provide under IT, that is an actual IT product or service, and it will bring up all of the current contracts that provide those services. On those award pages, you'll find a contact name and number on the award prime, contract holder, I'm sorry. Yeah, so
No problem.
That's how you search those.
Okay, no problem. And so this question is for BuyBoard. They basically just want to know how do they join BuyBoard?
You just register, and I went ahead and I put the link in both the chat and the Q&A, or you can just go buyboard.com and click vendor and you'll be able to register there.
Okay, outstanding. And let's see. This question is for DIR. Does DIR, I guess, have any association with GSA schedules?
No, we don't. So so GSA product, if you have a product or service, you could actually go to the comptroller's office to see if they would be able to award a contract, but it wouldn't be an IT service. DIR, we handle only IT products and services.
Okay. And for BuyBoard, what services do you utilize? Like they want to know what types of services do they have to have in order to do business with DIR? Like, can they be in any type of service or construction or?
Okay, yes. I'm sorry. I thought what services that we do.
No.
Yes, we have, and the link that we shared, it lists over 75, I believe we have contracts, but there's business or building maintenance. There's, I see one question they're asking about education curriculum. We have one for that, classroom use, office supplies. In all honesty, everything that a school district, a city, a county, police department, water district is going to need. We have contracts for that.
Okay, great. And so this question is for DIR. Does DIR require the prime contractor to utilize minority subs?
We do not require it, but we do encourage it. That's the reason we have those hub goals set for each contract.
Okay, great. And so this is a general question for both you. Are grant writing and program management services included in a cooperative agreement?
Do you mean as a contract or as part of the proposal?
I think they want to know with the services that they provide with grant writing and program management services, is that something that would be appropriate to be involved with a cooperative?
You know what, Dawn might have the answer for that as far as grant writing services, but as far as the facility and program, yes, we do.
Okay.
As far as grant writing, that's usually going to be a professional service type thing, and that'll be a local individual thing. It's not something that has to go on co-op. So I don't believe there's any kind of procurement laws for that in that realm.
Thank you, Dawn.
Okay, great. This message is for BuyBoard. Oh, I think they just wanted to know if Marisa was going to be at the TASB show Friday.
I saw that. Hi, Chris. I won't be there, and I'm really disappointed. I have two boys in high school. One's a senior, and it's homecoming, so I had to mom guilt. So I won't be there, but there will be about a dozen of our team members who will. I believe Dawn will be there and representatives from all over the state. So please reach out to me, or any of them can help you as well.
All right, awesome. This question is for BuyBoard. Does a vendor have to be an MWBE to be part of co-op?
No, not at all. I believe, Dawn, I'll have to look at his slide, but I think there was about 350 that we have, but not all of them are. So it just, you just get kind of extra bonus if you are, but we take all great vendors.
Okay, and this question is for BuyBoard. So this vendor provides drug and alcohol testing services for students and bus drivers. And they want to know, they said BuyBoard does not have this specific option of service available. Which option would be best for us to select under the commodity selection to ensure we are receiving proper RFP notifications?
You know what? Let me research that to make sure. I believe it would be under the school nurse and health contract, but let me research and get back to you, because I want to make sure that I provide the correct information. Stephanie, are you able to tell me who shared that, who asked that question?
Stacy Fuller.
Stacy Fuller. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, we have time right now for about one more question. And this question is for BuyBoard. Where can we see the timeline for all proposal invitations? If we've just missed the deadline for one, we will have to wait. Will we have to wait 3 years?
Yes. Yes. I'm so sorry to say that. And really it's because of all the legal procurement, everything that goes into it being approved by the board. So that their timelines as far as what's coming up is on the website. And then kind of in addition to that, when you do submit a proposal, there's an agreement, basically a timeline. So you'll sign that so you'll know the month that it will be reviewed, when it will go to the board, when it will be, you will be notified, and then when it will go live.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry, Dom.
Let me add something to that. If you are wanting to get on and you just missed one, please contact either Marissa or I, and we will work to see if there may be another contract that will actually cover some of yours. Our contracts can be broad enough that you may find a niche somewhere else that will take. So give us some time to work with you on that, if you would.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Don, for adding that information. And thank you so much, Marissa, as well as Teresa, for providing information to our attendees. And I just want to let our attendees know, I know that there were a lot of additional questions for all, both of those cooperatives. And we're going to go ahead and move on to our other two cooperatives. And then after that, we'll try to get to some of the remaining questions. So just hang tight. We're going to try to get to you. But for now, I want to introduce you guys to Jamie Stepich. Jamie is a local regional manager at Omnia Partners. Her territory includes North Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Jamie connects public agency members to awarded suppliers within the Omnia Partners portfolio. Jamie?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. Delighted to be with you all this morning. Okay, so Omnia Partners has been around a long time also, in one form or another. We are the umbrella or parent, if you will, to 3 different cooperatives that you may have heard of: the old TCPN, National IPA, and most recently, US Communities came under our umbrella. So at Omnia Partners, we provide our supplier partners power, access, and trust needed to win in the public sector space. Our lead public agency procurement model simplifies and accelerates the sales process for our suppliers. And I thought I would spend the next few slides giving an overview of cooperative purchasing. Kenva and John at the beginning of the call talked about the benefits of cooperative purchasing. So hopefully none of this is too redundant, but it really provides a streamlined access to public sector customers, and it increases your speed to revenue. Kenva talked a lot about the benefit is to save your time. They can go straight to a cooperative contract rather than go through that 4-month process. So it eliminates your need to respond to multiple bids. It provides flexibility to meet the diverse demands of customers. It facilitates account retention. So if you have a standalone contract with a district, when it expires, if you have a cooperative contract, rather than that going out to bid, the district can piggyback on the contract and stay with you as their as a supplier. And it meets all the compliance factors in the Texas state procurement laws. So unlike the private sector, everyone's looking to save money. While that's important, it's not the most important thing when it comes to cooperatives. School districts, counties, cities, higher education, they use cooperatives when they're looking to save time. 47% use cooperatives to save time, and you'll see the pressure to save money is 4th on the list. Here's some trends in cooperative purchasing that we've seen. 20% of SLED, which is state local education spend, goes through cooperative purchasing. And in K through 12 space last year, 48% of the spend across the country went through cooperative purchasing. So it's always increasing, the trend of using cooperative contracts. And that's listed here for various reasons: more legislative freedom, greater awareness, and the increase of available contracts. So these are the eligible agencies that utilize our cooperative contracts. And today, across the country, we have 234,000 members utilizing one or more contracts in the Omnia Partners portfolio. And a little bit about Omnia Partners, public sector. We're the leading cooperative purchasing organization for public agencies and higher education institutions across the United States. We have an experienced team of public procurement professionals, supply chain and cooperative purchasing experts. We have over 300 years combined in the cooperative purchasing space. And all of our contracts have been obtained through the formal RFP process by a lead public agency. So this is an overview of our organization, the number of our participants. We have over 350 contracts in our portfolio. We've seen a 300% increase in participant growth. That's members, public agency members, since 2013. And we partner with 38 lead public agencies. A lead public agency, they are our partners. They own the contract. They put the RFP together. They own the contract. They go through the process, and they partner with us to make it available to other public agencies. And these are the various categories that our contracts fall into. Now, how to become an awarded supplier. Everything goes through the competitive bid process. Our website is listed on the top left, omniapartners.com/public sector. And if you say you do roofing, if you want to see which roofing companies may have a contract in place already, and when it expires, you would click on the top of the ribbon bar there on our website under contracts and just type in roofing, and you can see the various awarded vendors and when that contract expires. That way you'll know a timeline for when to expect a new RFP to be available for you to compete on. And then under the solicitations tab where the arrow is, this is where you'll go to submit your company information to our database. On the next slide, I've clicked on solicitation, and here's where you're going to submit your information. There will be some drop downs. You can select what your company provides, the services and solutions, and then you'll be notified. So whatever email address you put in here, it's super important to put an email address, because that's where the notification will be sent when an RFP is available for you to respond to. And I believe that's it.